If you felt like giving up on a project recently and the hustle's just become too much hassle, then this video's for you. This week I'll share with you how I painted this sunset mountain scene while I talk about not giving up, the importance of failure, and how good things take time. The main distinguishing feature of successful people is their tenacity. They carry on well after the majority of us have given up. How many times have you given up on something in your life? Do you ever wonder where you might be now with that project or that skill if you'd kept trying all this time to make it work? What if you'd carried on with those piano lessons or continued learning that foreign language that was just a struggle and a bore at the beginning? Imagine how good you would be now at those skills. The idea of being an entrepreneur has always appealed to me because I've never really liked being told what to do, and I prefer to do things my way in my own time. I asked myself the question, would I rather carry on a job I didn't like much but making decent money, or have a go at being a full-time artist and maybe be broke for a while? The answer was immediate, the latter, and if I need to go and get a job again in a few years, well, I keep on trying. Will I have actually lost anything? Well, no, I will have gained a whole lot of experience. My art will hopefully have improved, and most importantly, I can live without regrets, knowing that I'm doing all that I can to live as an artist. I've been studying clouds all week because I need to figure out how the sun is going to light the edges of these dark clouds in the sky. Today, of course, there are no clouds. It's a perfectly cloud-free Normandy day. Typical. I actually paused the film Twilight, and I paused it when I saw this scene on the TV, and I just thought it was so beautiful that I had to paint it. But it's actually very difficult because this foreground area is completely dark in the movie still. So I have to just create something. So I made it very sort of abstract. So it's just some basic lines because I want the attention to be up in the sky on the sunset and the mountains in the distance. So the foreground isn't the important part of this painting. The sun is here, and these clouds would be lit by the rays of the sun. They would be lit underneath. So I've painted here, I've painted a yellow line in, but it needs to be more of a white, I think, to pick up the rays from the sun. And the same on the other surrounding clouds, so that they really come to life. So I'm going to work on that today. I'm also going to work on the sea here. But the problem is the original image is very bad quality and you can't really tell what's going on in the foreground. All you can see is that there's a body of water here, which is very slightly lit by the sun. So I've had to just sort of invent this a little bit. But that's okay because I want the focus of the painting to be on the sunset and the mountains and not so much on the foreground. So that's not a problem. I think with all paintings it's really important to decide where your focal point's going to be and to keep the surrounding areas less detailed. So I'll be working on that with you today. Let's mix some paints. So I always work with these Amsterdam acrylic paints. I find them really excellent quality. I've chosen this white, and this means it's opaque, which means there's no transparency to it. So it's really nice and thick white paint. And this primary yellow, which is really quite lemony, it's bright and light and will really light up, I think, the sunset. So I'm just going to use these two colours today. And this brush and this brush, they're just two different variations of size. I love these because they allow you to really paint precisely, and it works very well with the type of painting that I do, with these fine lines that I like to paint. So acrylic paint dries quite quickly, so you it's not like oil paint and you can lay it out and just work with it for days. You need to sort of mix for the painting session that you have, so for an hour or two, and then hopefully you'll have used up the paint by the end of the session. So I'm going to start with this and white with a tiny bit of yellow in it. See how that goes for now. So I'm just trying to illuminate the surrounding clouds, and using what I've seen in the sky around me here in Normandy. When there's been a sunset that's had clouds, I've noticed how they've been lit from underneath. So that's what I'm trying to do here with the very pale yellow paint. I'm lucky in that the sunsets that I can see are literally just outside of my studio window, so I can just look out and get some inspiration sometimes. I'm experimenting directly onto the canvas, and I found this is one of the best ways actually to create a painting, because it's usually when you're experimenting that exciting things happen and you can sometimes get effects that you weren't even expecting. This painting has been about making lots and lots of layers. I painted it over a number of weeks and just kept building it up and building it up. I think if you look at a sunset, if you keep looking, you notice more and more colours the longer you look. So I just kept varying the shades of yellow and orange and grey and blue as I went. To improve at anything, you need to have many tiny failures. That is the road to improvement. The scale of your success is actually based on how many failures you've had. If someone is better than you at something, chances are they've simply failed at it more times than you have. And the same applies if someone is worse than you at something. Chances are they've simply not been trying, failing and learning for as long as you have. If you think about it, everything you've learned to do that's been worthwhile was a struggle at first. From learning to walk, to learning to read, playing an instrument, learning a foreign language. You didn't give up walking or reading because it was hard and you failed multiple times before you succeeded, did you? The trouble with living in the social media age is we tend to only see the successful, and we think that it came to them easily. The truth is, they began at 0 too and struggled just like the rest of us. But we didn't see them while they were struggling. We didn't watch them doing the boring practice and using trial and error to figure out what works. I think to be happy and fulfilled, it's probably best to place our values in how we live our life on a day-to-day basis, not on an end goal, and certainly not in gaining approval or validation from other people. Let's be honest, none of us really know what we're doing. Life's about not knowing and doing something anyway. You don't need to be motivated to act, you need to act to become motivated. So just begin. I'm certainly not giving up and I'm not going anywhere, so thanks for coming along with me on my journey. It's so nice to have your company. Let me know what your dreams are in the comments. What are you working towards? What are you never giving up on? Thanks for watching. Take care, stay creative, and I'll see you again very soon.